What you tell yourself first thing in the morning sets the tone for your mindset, energy, and decisions for the next 24 hours. When you wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I am in control of my day, you are setting a powerful intention that directs everything that follows. Most people open their eyes and immediately hand over their control to outside forces without even realizing it. They check their phone and let notifications decide their mood. They let yesterday's problems spill into today's opportunities. They let traffic, weather, and other people's attitudes dictate how they feel and what they do. But the truth is, control starts the moment you decide it belongs to you. Life will always throw things at you that you cannot predict, but those things do not get to decide who you are or how you move forward unless you allow them to. When you declare you are in control of your day, you are reminding yourself that you are not a passenger in your own life. You are the driver, the captain, the architect. You are not waiting for perfect conditions because you understand that you create the conditions. You are not waiting for motivation because you understand that discipline is your choice and it will show up when you decide to act. There is an enormous difference between reacting and responding, and control comes from choosing the latter. Reacting means the world pushes you and you push back, often with the same negative energy that came toward you. Responding means you pause, you think, and you decide from a place of intention rather than impulse. The reason this morning declaration is so important is because without it, you risk letting small setbacks grow into full day disasters. A negative comment from someone can echo in your mind for hours if you haven't taken control of your focus from the start. But when you've told yourself you are in control, you view those moments differently. You see them as minor events that you will address with clarity, not emotional chaos. You don't let your energy leak into places that don't deserve it. Being in control doesn't mean you can force the world to follow your plan. It means you can stay grounded and adaptable when the world inevitably changes the plan. It means you hold yourself accountable for your actions, your words, and your attitude. It means you recognize that your power lies not in controlling everything, but in controlling yourself. The traffic jam doesn't have to ruin your day because you choose patience. The last-minute work change doesn't have to overwhelm you because you choose adaptability. The rude comment doesn't have to sting because you choose to let it slide. This is why this one statement every morning is transformative. It's not just a pep talk, it's a mental contract you sign with yourself. You are promising that no matter what happens, you will make the decisions that serve you, that align with your goals, and that protect your peace. You are telling yourself that you will not give away your emotional steering wheel to anyone else. Even when things go wrong, you will find what you can control and take action there, instead of wasting time complaining about what you can't. You will make today count because you are the one deciding how it will go. You will not drift through the hours waiting for something good to happen. You will create those moments and you will protect the energy you need to make them possible. When you tell yourself, I am capable of doing hard things, you are reminding your mind and body of a truth they sometimes forget. Life is not meant to be free of challenges. In fact, the moments that shape you the most are the ones that push you past what feels comfortable. Every difficulty you have ever faced has left you with more strength, more resilience, and more proof that you can endure and overcome. There have been days when you thought you couldn't possibly keep going, but you did. There were situations you thought you weren't ready for, but you found a way through. This morning declaration is not just about confidence. It's about memory. It's about remembering your own history of survival and victory. Too often, people shy away from hard things because they expect them to be impossible, but hard does not mean impossible. Hard means growth. Hard means you're stretching beyond what's familiar. Hard means you're adding tools to your mental and emotional toolbox that you'll use for the rest of your life. When you begin the day with this thought, you dismantle the excuses that tend to creep in when life gets uncomfortable. You take away the easy way out that whispers for you to stay safe, stay small, and avoid risk. You replace it with a mindset that looks at difficulty as an opportunity to prove yourself. Every great achievement you've ever admired in others came because someone was willing to take on what others thought was too hard. It's in the extra reps at the gym when your muscles are burning. It's in the late night study sessions when your brain wants to quit. It's in the uncomfortable conversations that lead to breakthroughs in relationships and careers. It's in the discipline of showing up again and again when results aren't visible yet. In 2025, challenges may come in many forms. Financial pressures, health goals, learning new skills in a rapidly changing world, but every single one of them is a chance to strengthen yourself in ways that an easy life never could. Telling yourself you can do hard things is also a safeguard against fear. Fear thrives when you forget your own strength. Fear grows when you focus on the size of the obstacle instead of your ability to overcome it. But when you wake up and remind yourself of this truth, fear has no room to settle in. You may still feel it, but you'll move forward anyway. You'll understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it. This mindset will change the way you view setbacks. Instead of seeing them as proof you should stop, you'll see them as training grounds, making you more capable for the next challenge. You'll stop underestimating yourself because you'll recognize that every time you push through something hard, your limits expand. And that's the point. Limits aren't fixed. They move with every challenge you conquer. When you accept this truth, you stop waiting for life to get easier and start working on making yourself stronger. You stop being surprised when something is difficult and start being grateful for the opportunity it gives you to grow. You stop telling yourself, I can't, and start asking, how can I? That shift changes everything because hard things start being a reason to quit and start being a reason to keep going with even more determination. When you tell yourself, I am grateful for what I have and excited for what's coming, you are creating a mental state that balances appreciation for the present with anticipation for the future. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here, and that shift instantly changes your mood, your energy, and your perspective. It's easy to wake up and start thinking about everything you need to fix, achieve, or acquire, but when you begin by recognizing what's already in your life, you start your day from a place of abundance instead of lack. You realize that even if things aren't perfect, there are blessings, opportunities, and people worth appreciating right now. Gratitude softens frustration, calms anxiety, and gives you a sense of stability no matter what's happening around you. But gratitude alone isn't enough to move you forward, which is why pairing it with excitement for the future is so powerful. When you're excited for what's coming, you create momentum. You give yourself a reason to act, to show up, and to stay committed. Excitement is the spark that keeps you moving when the results aren't immediate. It's the feeling that something good is ahead and that your actions today are connected to that vision. Together, gratitude and excitement create a mental loop that fuels both peace and progress. Gratitude keeps you grounded, reminding you to enjoy the journey and not overlook the blessings you already have. Excitement pulls you forward, reminding you that there is always more to create, more to learn, and more to experience. Without gratitude, excitement can turn into restlessness, constantly chasing the next thing without appreciating the present. Without excitement, gratitude can become complacency, staying too comfortable with where you are and forgetting the importance of growth. The combination keeps you balanced yet ambitious. Each morning, when you affirm this to yourself, you're rewiring your mind to see life as a mix of appreciation and anticipation. You might be grateful for your health today and excited about the fitness level you're working toward. You might be grateful for the job you have and excited about the business you're building. You might be grateful for the relationships that support you and excited about the new people you'll meet. This practice also trains you to find silver linings in challenging situations. Even when you're going through something difficult, there's almost always something to be grateful for, whether it's the lesson you're learning, the strength you're building, or the people who are helping you through it. And there's almost always something to be excited about, even if it's simply the chance to start fresh tomorrow or to take one small step closer to your goals. By starting your day with this dual focus, you set an emotional tone that's harder to shake. When unexpected problems come up, gratitude keeps you from spiraling into negativity, and excitement keeps you from stalling. This mindset also changes the way people respond to you. Gratitude makes you more approachable, more likable, and more trustworthy, while excitement makes you inspiring and magnetic. People want to be around someone who appreciates what they have, but also dreams bigger because it reflects a healthy, hopeful way of living. Over time, this morning declaration can shift not only how you feel, but also what you attract into your life. Because when you live in gratitude and excitement, your actions naturally align with the opportunities and relationships that match that energy. When you tell yourself, I will focus on progress, not perfection, you are freeing yourself from one of the most common traps that keeps people from moving forward. Perfection is an illusion that convinces you to delay action until everything is flawless, but flawless rarely exists in real life. By chasing it, you set yourself up for endless hesitation, overthinking, and frustration. Progress, on the other hand, is tangible. It's measurable. It's the small steps you take every day that stack up into big results over time. When you focus on progress, you give yourself permission to start where you are with what you have and to improve as you go. This shift in mindset changes the way you see challenges. Instead of avoiding something because you can't do it perfectly, you approach it knowing that even a small step forward is valuable. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and instead create momentum in the present. Momentum is powerful because it builds confidence, and confidence fuels even more progress. Every time you complete a task, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of moving forward. That belief becomes the foundation for tackling bigger goals. Focusing on progress also allows you to learn faster. Perfection requires you to avoid mistakes, but mistakes are some of the most effective teachers you will ever have. When you embrace progress, you accept that mistakes will happen and that they are simply part of the process. Each one gives you feedback, teaches you something new, and prepares you for the next step. This perspective removes the pressure to get everything right on the first try and replaces it with a mindset that values growth over appearance. It also helps reduce stress. The need to be perfect often creates unnecessary anxiety because it's tied to a fear of judgment or failure. But when you commit to progress, you stop measuring your worth by how close you are to an unattainable standard. You start measuring it by how far you've come from where you started. This makes it easier to celebrate small wins and recognize your own efforts instead of constantly feeling like you're falling short. In 2025, this mindset is especially important because the pace of change in the world means nothing will ever feel fully ready or certain. New technologies, shifting industries, and unpredictable circumstances will always create moving targets. Waiting for perfection before you act could mean missing opportunities entirely. But if you're focused on progress, you can adapt, evolve, and keep moving forward no matter how things change around you. Progress also compounds over time. A single day of progress might not seem like much, but days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. Looking back, you realize that what once felt small and insignificant was actually the foundation of your success. The key is consistency, showing up and putting in the work even when it's not perfect, even when it's messy, even when you feel unsure. That consistency transforms your skills, your mindset, and your results. It also builds resilience because when you value progress, setbacks don't knock you out of the game. They become part of the journey, a temporary pause rather than a final stop. You learn to adjust, to keep moving, and to find ways forward instead of giving up entirely when things don't go exactly as planned. When you tell yourself, I will protect my peace and energy, you are making a commitment to value your mental, emotional, and physical well-being as much as your ambitions and responsibilities. Peace is not something that simply appears when life gets easier. It is something you actively create and defend, even in the middle of challenges. And energy is a finite resource, and where you spend it determines the quality of your life. Too often, people pour their time and effort into things that drain them without realizing how much it affects their clarity, focus, and happiness. Protecting your peace means being intentional about what you allow into your mind, what conversations you engage in, and what environments you spend time in. It means recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting, not every comment is worth responding to, and not every situation needs your attention. This doesn't mean avoiding problems, but it does mean choosing your battles wisely so you can preserve your strength for the things that truly matter. Protecting your energy is about knowing your limits and being honest about them. It's about setting boundaries with people who take more than they give, with activities that bring more stress than joy, and with habits that leave you feeling drained rather than recharged. Sometimes it means saying no to opportunities that don't align with your goals. Sometimes it means walking away from arguments that go nowhere. Sometimes it means unplugging from social media to give your mind space to breathe. When you make this decision every morning, you are giving yourself permission to prioritize yourself without guilt. This is important because a peaceful mind is more creative, more focused, and more capable of solving problems. When your energy is high, you can give more to your work, your relationships, and your passions without feeling resentful or exhausted. In a world that constantly demands your attention through notifications, endless tasks, and the pressure to be on all the time, protecting your peace becomes a form of strength. It's a reminder that your value is not tied to how busy you are or how much you do for others, but to the quality of the presence you bring to the things you choose to engage in. The more you guard your energy, the more you notice how certain people, habits, or environments affect you. You begin to see patterns. Maybe there are conversations that always leave you feeling drained, routines that keep you tired, or commitments that only add stress without real benefit. Becoming aware of these allows you to make adjustments that support your well-being. Protecting your peace is also about not letting negativity rent space in your mind. You can't always control what people say or do, but you can control whether their words take root in your thoughts. Choosing not to internalize unnecessary criticism or drama is a form of self-care. It keeps your mind clear and your emotions steady, which helps you make better decisions. This daily reminder is not about being selfish. It's about being strategic. You can't pour from an empty cup. If your energy is depleted, you can't perform at your best or be fully present for the people who matter to you. By protecting your peace and energy, you ensure that you have the strength, focus, and emotional stability to handle life's challenges and pursue your goals with clarity and determination. When you tell yourself, today, I will take one bold step toward my dreams, you are making a deliberate choice to live actively instead of passively. Dreams don't become reality through wishful thinking alone. They require consistent, intentional action, and often that action requires courage. A bold step is something that stretches you beyond your comfort zone, something that feels a little intimidating because it matters. It's not always a giant leap. Sometimes it's a small but decisive move that starts a chain reaction. When you commit to taking one bold step every day, you guarantee that you are moving forward no matter how slowly. This keeps you from falling into the trap of waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect level of readiness, because those moments rarely arrive on their own. A bold step could be making a phone call you've been avoiding, starting a project you've been overthinking, applying for an opportunity that feels out of reach, or sharing your ideas when you'd normally stay quiet. It's an action that carries risk of rejection, risk of failure, risk of discomfort, but it also carries the possibility of growth, progress, and breakthrough. When you wake up with this mindset, you start scanning your day for opportunities instead of obstacles. You begin to look at challenges as openings rather than roadblocks. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to seek out and embrace action instead of retreating from it. Taking one bold step a day compounds over time. What feels terrifying at first becomes less intimidating as your confidence grows. Each step teaches you something about the world, about others, and most importantly, about yourself. You start to realize that fear is often a sign you're moving in the right direction because it means you're stretching beyond the boundaries of what's familiar. This approach also prevents overwhelm. When you think about achieving your biggest dreams, the distance between where you are now and where you want to be can seem enormous. That gap can paralyze you if you try to leap it in one move. But by focusing on one bold step at a time, you break that distance into manageable parts. You don't have to figure out every detail of the journey right now. You just need to know the next step you can take today. Over weeks and months, those steps add up, and what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. A bold step is not always about visible results. It's about building the habit of courage. Some days, the boldest thing you can do is to have an honest conversation you've been putting off, to finally release a piece of work into the world, or to ask for help when you'd normally try to do everything alone. Other days, it's making a decision that changes your path entirely. What matters is the intention behind it and the willingness to face discomfort. By declaring this intention each morning, you're setting a standard for how you will live the day. You're telling yourself that you will not let fear, doubt, or procrastination dictate your actions. You will find a way to move closer to the life you envision, even if it's just a single step. You're reinforcing the belief that progress requires risk and that your dreams are worth that risk. You are choosing to be an active participant in your own story, to shape your life through deliberate action rather than leaving it to chance